What exactly happens when you watch porn? So, can you start with the basic concept that what exactly is the impact of porn?
Yeah, that's a great question. And where I try to take a lot of this question is understanding the impact that it's having on the brain, right? Because if we can understand how pornography is hijacking our brain, hijacking our reward system, and hijacking our dopamine, just like other drugs, then we begin to see the real danger with even consuming it one or two times. Internet streaming pornography. So I'm not talking about the magazine that I stumbled across when I was 6 years old. I'm talking about what our young boys have access to today. This is on the internet. This is the infinite amount of pornography that is readily available for us. This
Okay.
is what's defined in the neuroscience world as a super normal stimulus. So if we understand, let's just, we don't have to have a deep understanding of dopamine, but dopamine is a neurochemical and it is released when we're in the pursuit of our goal. So if we could look at dopamine as there's a line of dopamine, and every stimulus either creates a spike or a dip based on what type of stimulus that on. A pleasure-based stimulus will create a spike in dopamine. A pain-focused stimulus will create a dip into the pain side of things because dopamine does work in a cycle. Being that it's a supernormal stimulus, and all this means is that the response that you get from watching pornography is supernormal, meaning it cannot be replicated in the natural world. So what ends up happening, Rishna, is first, second exposure, you've created on the pleasure side of things a supernormal level of dopamine. So your brain now knows, okay, if I want dopamine, I could go get dopamine in the pursuit of my goals, working towards launching a business, launching a podcast, going to the gym to get healthy. But that's going to get me to like a level 3. If I go look at pornography, I'll get to a level 10. So it begins to hijack your reward system, begins to
Mhm.
hijack your dopamine to where you're only going to get hits of dopamine in the pursuit of more pornography. And what this happens because dopamine is tied to motivation. It's meant to be a chemical that is released in the pursuit of our goals. So first, second exposure, the guy has now established a new baseline of dopamine in his brain. Over time, that gets higher and higher and higher. And this is what's known as the desensitization
Yeah.
effect. Anybody that has ever done any type of drugs or drink alcohol understands this. The first sip of alcohol or the first time you do a hardcore drug, you get a massive spike. You're never able to reach that. Again, this is why you need more hardcore drugs, or this is why you need harder liquor, or this is why in pornography you start with one type of genre, very casual, vanilla type of sex, but 3, 6 months, a year into this thing, you're watching videos that you wouldn't even be able to sit in the room if it was taking place. And I don't want to get too graphic there. I'll let people's imaginations roll with that to kind of understand what it is I'm talking about. But this puts people in the place where, because you've established a new baseline, your brain can only get to that point with more intense or more hardcore. This takes you down the rabbit hole of like, why am I even watching these things that I'm not morally right? So
Right.
I don't know if that answered your question there, but
Yeah.
it, it,
I've
it
read about
hijacks the reward
something
system.
called